Part 1. The Wound. Chapter 1. Cynthia. Trouble never travels alone and usually arrives when you're expecting somebody else. It's predictable, like bad weather. And if you find something good happening in your life, watch out for dark clouds. Now, if you live like this, and I often do, seeing the worst coming around the corner instead of something good, you'll always be looking over your shoulder, waiting for the other shoe to drop. When I was little, I overheard my grandmother say, "That Cynthia looks for weevils in her cotton candy." All the struggle and worry and fretting and thinking the worst never seems to get me where I want to be, but I can't help going for the ride. I suppose it's how I cope with life. I'm constantly thinking bad things are just around the corner. No matter how good life might be, I drive with one foot on the brake. Hope is a 4-letter word I have a hard time spelling in my soul. And I suppose I'm living in a rut that began 5 years ago. It was a rut I began digging long before that. Elizabeth, my twin sister, had gone through a rut of her own with her husband, Tony. I don't want to go into it, but Tony had gotten into trouble. Well, I said I wasn't going to go into it. Things had turned around for them eventually, so I thought maybe that might happen to me. Instead, the wheels came off the I do I said to my husband, Darren, because his I do had become I don't care anymore. I reached out to Elizabeth for help, which is not the easiest thing for me to do. I don't go running to others willy-nilly with my problems. I just need you to understand that. Elizabeth tried to help, and she did to a point. But even if you have somebody who will walk through a dark valley with you, life can still hit you in the face with a brick. Which brings me back to my husband. The signs had been there all along, even when we were dating. I kick myself now for not seeing it, which is a double wound, a brick to the face, and I kick myself years later. What's up with that? I've got bruises on my bruises. I won't go into all I didn't see about Darren. That would take way too long. When I met Darren, I will not say that his middle name was Trouble, but I've often wondered. He was sweet as talcum and smooth as cow butter. He gave me compliments. He told me how pretty I was, seemed amazed at my intelligence and vocabulary, and he would look at me with a twinkle in his eye, like he saw something deep inside me. And that smile of his, it could melt an iceberg. There didn't seem to be anything he wouldn't do to win my heart. I should have seen what others saw. I'm talking about Elizabeth. But there are things you can't hear or see when you're under the spell of what you think is love. It's like that blind man by the side of the road in the Bible. When he finally made it to Jesus, the Lord asked what he wanted, and the man said, "Rabbi, I want to see." I wish I had prayed that, but I didn't want to see. I wanted to stay blind because it felt too good keeping my eyes closed to the signs on the dashboard of my heart. I just slapped some duct tape over the flashing lights on the spaceship headed for planet Darren. I can still see him, down on one knee in the middle of a crowded restaurant. He put a sparkling ring on my finger, and my first thought was, what did he pawn? He didn't have a job, which was another truth I pushed aside. When I said yes, the people around us applauded, and Darren beamed. The waiter brought complimentary desserts, which was nice. It would have been nicer if Darren had offered to pay for dinner. But as I said, he was out of work, and I was flying high and couldn't wait to tell everybody. I didn't, of course, because the people who cared about me could see the road ahead and that the bridge was out.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.